I want to make this extremely clear. I don't think Tennessee is just going to beat Florida. I think they're going to Millie Rock Florida for 2 reasons. It is time for one of my favorite videos of the week, and that is no other than the Week 4, I almost said 3, and I can't believe it, it's already Week 4, but it is the Week 4 preview for college football. I realize I said Week 4 3 times in one sentence, stick with me, but hold on. We gotta check out and go over this first. So apparently, a Utah student has been arrested after allegedly, quote-unquote, stating she was going to detonate a nuclear reactor. One more time, because that's a mouthful, and shout out to my man Hoodie4 tagging me in this. She threatened to detonate a nuclear reactor if Utah's football team lost to San Diego State. Over my many years of watching football and rooting for my favorite basketball or football team, I have never felt this type of way. Look, I understand it 100%. You want to see your favorite team do good, and maybe you bet some money on them, but I have never seen this in my life. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say college football, they got to have some of the craziest fans ever. Remember when that Alabama fan burned the Auburn trees just because they lost? Or my bad, he didn't burn them. Sorry about that. He poisoned the trees. I thought that was insane, but threatening to detonate a nuclear reactor? I don't even know what to say about that. Obviously, this young lady who said this, she was more than likely joking about it and just trying to be funny and exaggerating it. Or at least I hope she was joking about this, because if she's not, that's a completely different conversation. She needs some serious help. It's 2022. For the sake of this video, I'm going to assume it was a joke, and we all know this. You can't joke about that stuff. That's actually insane. I did want to share that news with you guys because I found that extremely interesting. I am curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think she was joking, or was she being serious? Oh yeah, by the way, Utah, they didn't lose the game. They won that game she was talking about, 35-7. Okay, hold on. I just thought about this. How do you explain that to your parents, or when you get arrested? I haven't been arrested myself, but if you do, I'm almost positive you get a couple of phone calls to people. You can try to call someone and ask them to bail you out. Well, how do you explain that to somebody or anybody? Hey, mom and dad, I did something stupid. Will you come bail me out? Oh, honey, what'd you do? Why are you in jail? Yeah, I threatened to blow up Utah. And if y'all want me to be honest, I can't blame the police for arresting her. People do crazy stuff. Like I said, it's 2022. Although people are soft nowadays, it's also one of the craziest times to be alive. Anyways, getting back on topic, let's get down to the nit and gritty, and that's the Week 4 preview. It's rather simple. We're going to preview the games. You know how this goes. No intro, none of that needed. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. We're on the road to 300K. And if you are subscribed, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Much love and respect. For real though, the people that are subscribed and you continue to come back and watch the videos, I greatly appreciate y'all, and we're building just an awesome community on this channel. All right, Matt, blah. Shut the crap up. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start off with the top 2 teams and get these games out of the way first. I'm only going to spend about 45 seconds talking about them. Georgia plays Kent State. They're a 45-point favorite, and it's going to be ugly. That's all that needs to be said. The team ranked behind Georgia, Alabama number 2, they got an SEC game, but they play Vanderbilt, which is arguably one of the worst teams in the conference. Vanderbilt surprisingly hasn't looked all too bad this year, and they're sitting at 3-1. Similar to the Georgia game, this Alabama and Vanderbilt game, even though it is an SEC matchup, it's going to get ugly fast. I don't want you to get it twisted. I respect Vanderbilt. They bring up the SEC's GPA, and they also have a good baseball program. The cold and brutal harsh truth about their football team is they don't have the guys or the kids to compete with Alabama, or really anybody else that good. We all know Georgia and Alabama, they're going to have easy wins on Saturday, but I brought up both of those games and teams for this reason right here. My man on Instagram sent me this. Shout out to you. You know who you are. You wanted me to react to this and give you my opinion, and I thought it was a great thing to talk about on a video. Paul Feinbaum, I'm sure most of you know who he is. He's a big SEC guy. He has stated, I think Georgia has replaced Alabama as college football's premier program. What do y'all think about that? I know that's going to cause up a controversy. If I'm being transparent with all of you, I know who Paul Feinbaum is. I think almost everybody does. But I don't really know too much about the guy, and I know he has his own TV show, but I may have only watched it once in my entire life. I just know he's been around college football for a long time, and he's normally big on Alabama. He takes their side a lot. Anytime I've seen a video clip of him talking on Twitter or Instagram, he's always taking up for Bama. I say that to say this. You would think a guy who's been around college football for a long time and watched Alabama rise to where they're at now wouldn't say something as stupid as this. That may be one of the stupidest and most idiotic things I've seen this year. Oh, don't want to take my word for it? Well, here's a comment from a Georgia fan who even is saying the same thing I am. Whoa. Hold on. Before some of y'all run to the comments, hear me out. Notice in this quote, he wasn't talking about this year. He has stated that Georgia has completely replaced Alabama as college football's premier program. I'm going to explain to you why he's 100% wrong. If he were to say in the past 2 years that Georgia is looking like the new Alabama and the better Alabama, I would agree with that. But he didn't say that. He is saying that Georgia has just completely replaced Alabama and they're the new Alabama. He is trying to say that Georgia is now the brand you think of when you think of college football, and it's not. For the past 15 years, when a casual fan has thought of college football, or somebody overseas has thought of college football or they watch it, you know who they think of first? Alabama. When it comes to being the quote-unquote premier brand of college football, or the quote-unquote iconic brand of college football, it's still Alabama. I hate to break the news to you, Paul. If you disagree with that statement, I'm going to offer you this. Have you ever heard an NFL team or a college team chant, "We want Georgia"? No. What does everybody chant? "We want Bama." So until that changes, no, Alabama's still the premier program. I think that is extreme recency bias. Georgia, yeah, they won a championship last year, but how many has Alabama won in the past 14 years? Now, if Georgia in the next 10 years wins 4 or 5 more championships, oh yeah, then we got a serious conversation on our hands. Until then, stop the nonsense. Moving on to our next game at 11 a.m., I'm definitely tuning in this one. We got Clemson and Wake Forest. I don't think this game's going to be that close. I think Clemson's going to win. They're only a 7-point favorite. I do find that odd. But the reason I'm talking about it and the reason it's interesting is the same stuff I said for the past 3 to 4 months, to watch Clemson's quarterback situation unfold. Here's my biggest question. When is Dabo Swinney finally going to grow some balls and tell DJ Uiagalelei that he's not good enough to be the quarterback that can lead him to a championship? It's going to happen eventually. Dabo Swinney just doesn't want to hurt his feelings. I know this. Clemson fans know this. Everybody in the country knows this. Cade Klubnik is better than DJ. If you want to win 10 or 11 games every single year, there is nothing wrong with having Uiagalelei at quarterback. He's the perfect quarterback for that. Unfortunately, though, Clemson fans and that program's not satisfied with 10 or 11 wins. They want to compete for championships. I have no idea why Clemson is only a 7-point favorite. I don't think it's going to be that close because it wasn't close last year. Moving on to our 2:30 games, let's talk about what I think is going to be the game of the day and the one I'm looking forward to the most, Tennessee and Florida. Currently at this given moment, Tennessee is a 10.5-point favorite. That's a pretty big margin, and to be honest, I don't even know why Florida's ranked. They have looked pitiful the past 2 weeks. Yeah, they did beat Utah at home, but come on, man. Utah ain't that good. I want to make this extremely clear. I don't think Tennessee is just going to beat Florida. I think they're going to milly rock Florida for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, and I believe it's why they're a 10.5-point favorite, they have a quarterback who is probably 2 times better than Anthony Richardson. I've told you guys week after week, I love Hendon Hooker. He is underrated and he should be up for the Heisman. Let me just give you a player comparison. Hendon Hooker for Tennessee has 844 passing yards, 6 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, a QBR 86.3. I think we can all agree that's pretty solid, isn't it? Well, on the other hand, Anthony Richardson has 423 passing yards, terrible, with 0 passing touchdowns, terrible, and 4 interceptions, a QBR 35.9. I hate to say this because I think the kid is talented, he just hasn't put it together. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the entire country. If you disagree with that statement, I'm just going to have these numbers on the screen right here for you to look at. You may be a Florida fan, you may like him, but you got to come to terms with reality. He can run the ball, he can make some plays here and there, but he can't throw a football, and last time I checked, that's a pretty big part of being quarterback. That leads me to my second reason as to why I think Tennessee is going to milly rock Florida, their defense. Tennessee's defense has improved dramatically from last year, and the thing is, they don't even need to be all that good. They're relying on their offense to win these games. Josh Heupel and Tennessee as a team, they think, hey, if we hold the other team to 28 points, we're going to win 9 out of 10 games. That's bad news for Florida because their offense has been piss poor. I believe it's rather simple. Tennessee's defense is going to stuff the box, and they're going to force Anthony Richardson to beat him through the air. Not on the ground, but through the air. I hope this game is close because nobody likes watching a blowout, and I love watching me a close game at 2:30 on CBS. Man, oh man, tell me I'm wrong. Nothing beats that old dun 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 dun. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The music, it's just so nostalgic. Wait, is it nostalgia? Yeah, I guess you could say that's nostalgia vibes. There's just something about that CBS song. When you hear it, you know it's going to be a good day. It goes without being said. Everybody knows this. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. The X factor in this game is Anthony Richardson. If he has a good game, then Florida might have a chance. If he doesn't have a good game, it might be bad. We'll see what happens. If you have some free time Saturday, that is the one game I would try my best to watch. Moving on to a different 2:30 game I don't see many people talking about, and I don't know why. We got Texas and Texas Tech. We all know this. If Quinn Ewers is not playing quarterback for Texas, they could arguably lose any game. We saw it last week. They was in a struggle fest against UTSA. I think that's who it was. And now they got good old Tech. Unless I'm misinformed on something, I haven't heard anything about Ewers coming back. Maybe I missed a report or something, but I'm going to assume he's not going to play quarterback. I think Texas should win this game with ease, and more than likely they will, but it's Texas. If you're a Texas fan, you know what I'm talking about. The last 5 or 6 years, you say that about almost every game and you somehow lose it. I am picking Texas to win this game, but it's so crazy to me myself that I feel so differently about Texas just by who their quarterback is. If Quinn Ewers isn't hurt and he's playing for Texas, I think they got a shot against anybody. But if he's not playing, I think they also got a shot to lose against anybody. That just goes to show you how much a quarterback matters at the college level. It's the exact same thing with Anthony Richardson at Florida. If he's playing great, they can beat anybody. If he's playing bad, they can lose to anybody. It's the tale of two tapes. Like I said, though, I got Texas winning this one. Got a few more to go over. Before we get into the Arkansas A&M one, how about we talk about Wisconsin and Ohio State? This is a game similar to the Clemson game where maybe it could be a trap one. Wisconsin isn't ranked. They're 2-1. I don't think they're a bad football team, but I don't think they're on Ohio State's level. Is Wisconsin as talented as Ohio State? No. Are they on the same level as Ohio State? No. And should they beat Ohio State? No. However, we all know Wisconsin has that ugly Big Ten slow and rugged play style. Whenever they get the ball in offense, they want to chew the clock and make it a slow game with limited possessions. And that right there is the recipe to upset and beat Ohio State. It's the same thing with Michigan we've seen in the past. I don't think Michigan is slow and rugged this year, but in the past 3 or 4 seasons with Jim Harbaugh, that's how they've played. Limit the possessions, control the clock, and control the tempo and pace. I believe this game is either going to go one or two ways. Way number one, Ohio State blows them out from the jump, not even close. And way number two, you could see a slugfest. You could see one of those iconic 20-17, 2014, or 28-21 ball games. We all know Ohio State, no introduction needed. They got so many weapons. CJ Stroud, he's awesome. But Wisconsin, they also got a decent quarterback in Graham Mertz. I don't think Graham Mertz is this special quarterback that can beat you, but he can make some throws here and there. I also like their sophomore running back, Braylon Allen. He's got 50 carries for already 330 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think that's a sneaky game, but it's so hard for me to pick against Ohio State, even if I wanted to, because look how much talent they have. Believe it or not, I am confident enough to say I do trust Ryan Day. Give me Ohio State in this one, but it's going to be a closer game than what many people think. They're going to win by 7 points. Oh yeah, real quick, before we get into the Arkansas and Texas A&M game, let's go over these two. Word around the block is, and apparently, many people think Oregon State has a shot and a good shot against USC. USC is only a 6-point favorite. I don't think this one's going to be close. USC and Caleb Williams on offense, they're going to be too much, and they're going to score over 50 points like usual. I got USC easily in that one. I don't know why people think it's going to be close. And last but not least, before we get into the Arkansas game, Kansas State and Oklahoma. I find this one rather bizarre because Oklahoma just Donkey Kong, Bing Bong, Ping Pong, Schlong Dong smash Nebraska last week, yet they're only a 12.5-point favorite? And I know what you're sitting there saying, well, Matt, Kansas State, they're a solid ball club. Well, last week they lost to Tulane at home. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand why this Oklahoma game is only 12.5 points. It should be a 24-point spread, and the USC one should be about 15 or 16. I fully expect Oklahoma to beat the dog crap out of Kansas State. Let's get on to our last game, Arkansas and Texas A&M. Oh man, where do you want me to start with this one? The first thing I find strange is A&M's a 2-point favorite. Yeah, I get it, they're at home, but I don't understand how anybody can watch Texas A&M the first 3 weeks and say, yeah, I'll favor them over Arkansas. Doesn't make too much sense to me, but hey, to each its own. I don't think there's a big discrepancy in both teams. I think it should be flip-flop. Arkansas should be the 2 or 3 point favorite. Texas A&M's offense is pitiful. It is one of the worst in the SEC, and they're still unresolved at the quarterback position. And I know what you're sitting there saying, well, Matt, they figured it out, didn't they? Their new starter is Max Johnson, the guy who started last week and beat Miami. Okay, yeah, I'll give you credit on that, but it's not like he did anything to win the game. He only threw the ball 20 times, had 10 completions, and 4 of those were to the running back. So he only completed 6 passes to wide receivers, and 4 of those were his top wide receiver, Nia Smith. So no, just because you beat Miami and you got a new starting quarterback, that doesn't mean the quarterback position is resolved. There's still a lot of question marks there on that offensive side of the ball for A&M. Not going to talk about the defense too much. We know they're sound and solid. On the flip side of the ball for Arkansas, their offensive situation couldn't be any more different. They have 2 Heisman contenders just on offense. One of those being their quarterback, KJ Jefferson. I say it all the time. I'm going to say State again. He reminds me a lot of Cam Newton and the running back Raheem Rocket Sanders. I love Raheem Sanders. I think he's easily one of the top 10 running backs in the entire country, and he might be top 5. And we saw it with Appalachian State. If you have a good running back and a good O-line, you're going to be able to run on A&M. Even though I do like A&M's defense, they got a good group of guys, I think Arkansas is still going to put up points. The X factor in this game and the thing to pay attention to is A&M's offense. The defense hasn't been the problem this year. It's been the offense, and we all know this. This matchup is so intriguing because Arkansas's defense, contrary to A&M's defense, is pretty bad. And that's why it's interesting, because A&M's offense is terrible, but Arkansas's offense is good, but Arkansas's defense is terrible, and A&M's defense is good. I don't know if I've ever seen a matchup like this, but look at the cold hard facts. In the 3 games so far, Arkansas has given up 24 points, 30 points to a South Carolina team that's not that good, and 27 recently to Missouri State. Fortunately enough for A&M, you're going to be able to pass on them, but here's the question. Can Max Johnson make those passes? I think he can. I saw it at LSU, but is Jimbo going to trust him? I guess we'll have to wait and we're going to have to see, but that's going to be the X factor. If I had to pick a team to win this game, I'm going Arkansas. I don't trust Jimbo Fisher right now, and I certainly do not trust that offense. Realistically speaking, A&M should win this game, but they also should beat Appalachian State. I will take Arkansas in this one, no problem about it, and I guess that is an upset because they're not favored. I think Week 4 is going to be similar to Week 3. You're not going to see many upsets, but you still got a good slate of games. Hey man, if you're like me, it doesn't matter if it's good games or bad games. You're excited for any Saturday during college football season. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But right away, Millie!